I'll just set up that shot. Is that a shot framing okay? Happy with that? I think that's okay.
That looks great, yeah.
Right, so first of all, can I get your, where's the microphone gone? There we go. I need to get your full name first of all.
Ashley Power.
Ashley Power.
Yeah.
And how would you describe yourself? I know you're an expert by experience. What would your kind of like, what do you call yourself in terms of your title?
Well, Mindful Journeys is the company. We try to help people on various sectors, whether it's one-to-one as like a buddy scheme with patients, self-harm clinics in various places, advising people on restraints, feeling during, before and after. Loads of things, really.
I've lost your microphone. I'm a bit worried about that.
Do you want me to change my top but shirt on? I had a shirt, but it was
I'm gonna leave
crinkles on it.
I wanted to come casual.
Mine had crinkles on it, so I had to put it back away.
I'm gonna leave it there. It'll be fine if it's there. So obviously we've come to meet you, but we want to find out a little bit about your story because you've had an incredible life. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
38.
38.
Yeah.
And your life is really what you're doing. So your experiences in the past. Could you give me a very kind of brief summary of what you have been through in relation to this product that we're going to be talking about?
Yeah. Before I give you that, I'll say that I only set out and like to do what I do now is because I wish that there was that one person to do what I do now. Because if that person was there, maybe my life would have gone a different path, or even shortened the path. Because shortening the path would have been great as well. Stopping the path is sometimes impossible, and yeah, that's a big word, but it is impossible sometimes. But the path could have been shortened.
Right.
Great. I went to prison when I was 15. After many different services, trial and secure units, everything. All of the offences I went in for were not ginormous offences, but I just lost my path. Didn't know what to do anymore. At 15, I literally didn't feel like I had a life. And then when I went into the system, which is supposed to be there to help, was the complete opposite. Straight away, I was going up against people who were going to control me, and that I'm not a person that's going to allow that to happen. So over 6 years of going in and out to various prisons, I went to 26 of them for various different things, including riots, hostage taking, smashing cells, anything you think of. I tried to do it, including an escape.
And then we're going to be talking about these. Have you seen the safe handling products? In fact, we need to go up the back.
Yeah, of course.
Have you been restrained in your time?
Many times. Yes, yeah, many times. Yeah.
And what were the usual reasons for that when you were restrained? What?
My personal opinion, when someone loses control, it's the way they think that they can control you. That was my opinion back then.
Did you ever have any psychotic episodes where you weren't in control though, or where you weren't there?
Yeah, I did. There was many times that there were psychotic episodes, but they would deal with them during a psychotic episode or a non-psychotic episode. At that time, I think it was just a control thing. It was the system's moved on many years since I went in. But you know, at 15 years old, I had Accuphase put in me for the first time. At 15 years old, it's
What
not.
is that?
It's a drug that they put inside you, and it basically stops your whole body completely. Your whole body just goes to sleep. You can hear things, see things. You can't move. You can't talk.
So it's a different way of being restrained through medication.
But that can only be used a certain amount of times. Used to have a lot of involvement to be able to get that to be used. So it was basically stuff like that with body belts, or they still had a straitjacket back then as well.
And what about metal restraints? Did you have those a lot? Obviously cuffs.
Yeah, they were. It was more body belts with cuffs like attached to them. Although it's not supposed to be done, but I used to have the feet done with like a You know, the cuff with a bit in the middle, them hard ones. I used to have my feet done with them sometimes as well. People will say that this didn't happen, but there's records to show that it did.
And you can remember.
I can remember
it. Like? Tell me what it's like being restrained like that in metal.
It's absolutely shit, to be honest, and I'm not going. That is the word I'm going to use, and it's scary because there's one situation. I think I've only spoken about this a couple of times in my whole life. I've said about it, but there's a couple of situations. It was very scary as well because I do remember a place. I was in Onley prison. I would have been still classed then as a juvenile. I hadn't gone up to the YOs yet, so I hadn't turned 18, because 18 to 21 back then was the YOs, young offenders, and they basically put me in a cell that had 2 doors, and it was silent, so whatever I did they wouldn't hear, and they just turned off the bell. So I was in there in a body belt with no one hearing me, and my bell turned off. You're not allowed to turn the bells off. They're not going to say they turned it off, but I'm telling you the bell was off. There was literally nothing. And then at that point, I thought I could just end up dying. And then my brain's going through random crap like, oh, what happens if there was an earthquake? Or what happens if this happened? Or I'm literally in a room that no one can hear me. Just there, naked with a body belt on.
Just horrendously challenging. But here you are now, running a successful business, an expert by experience. So you've been able to come through that.
Yeah, because I had people along my journey. I was very fortunate, really. I think nearly everywhere I went, I always found one person, or one person found me. And then people, got me to the end. Obviously, I arrived up at Ashworth, which was my last stop.
How old were you then? Your last sort of
20.
20?
Youngest person to go in there, yeah.
So when did you leave prison and turn your life around? At what age was that?
Probably about 27. I've had a couple of instances of arrests, like being drunk and stuff like that. But that's about it since I was 20.
Since you were 20?
Yeah.
But so this product here, I mean, have you, in fact, I'm going to talk about something else. The case study, I think, Doug sent to you. Do you remember that, when you saw the photographs?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Have you got it on your phone? Because I can't look it up, obviously, because it's on my phone.
I've got it on mine.
Would you be able to open it up? We wanted your opinion on that, really, on what that particular case study. You had a look at the details.
First of all, the pictures to a lot of people would be shocking. To me, they're not. I've been there, lived it, so they're not a shocking thing. What was more shocking was the story itself that came. I'm not going to go into it, obviously, but the story mimicked me, and also stuff that I've seen along the road. I won't mention any places, but there was one instance that I seen someone get put into the body belt. A lot mimic the case study. Is the guy was just walking up the corridor. I was actually talking to a member of staff, a really good member of staff. He was the biggest member of staff I've ever seen. I'm not even joking you. He looked like John Coffey off Green Mile. And the bloke just went up to him and hit him. I was like, what? And it only transpires afterwards that he was hearing voices that this member of staff was the devil. So that was why I did it. So he obviously got put into restraints. The restraints that I went into over the years, they hurt. Obviously, I can't show you them hurts now, but they're as bruises. You know, your hands hurt for a long time. And there are rules now, and there were rules then, but them rules were not always, in my opinion, definitely not. The certain amount of times and stuff that you're supposed to, that's a load of crap. You know, I've been in one for days on end where it hasn't even taken off. You know,
so how did you eat?
You don't. People don't think these happen. Let me tell you, inside these places there are rules, but they're not always stuck to. It is what it is.
But this particular case study, focusing on that individual wasn't really with it at the time. Whether they were in a different place, so they were thrashing around. When you were restrained, you were always compos mentis. You were always.
No. There were times that I probably, because I have something also called excited delirium. I don't know how many people around the world would know about it, but it's a true thing, and it's something that I can't explain. It's when it happens. It's normally after I've been hurt or really angry. My mind's gone. It's gone blank. It doesn't come back either. It's never there. So when I go back for it, that memory, it's gone. Then my pain is not felt. Pain hurts afterwards. So after then, I've been jumped on many times and all that. That still hurts. But
so you could be in a situation where you wouldn't maybe remember, and you'd be thrashing in mental
Yeah.
restraints.
Yeah.
So I think the important thing is, if you had a look at this, what's your opinion of how this works? And I'll get Doug to show you in a minute. Have you come across this kind of restraint before?
I've seen it as I've been going around places.
What's your opinion if this has been around when you were?
It would have helped me when I was in thing, because first of all, it wouldn't have hurt as much. And no one should be out there giving pain to anybody. Although,
Sorry. That's okay. Any milk or sugar? Oh, just milk, please. No sugar.
Just black, please.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Thank
fine.
you.
sorry.
That's fine.
Although, one thing I'll say before I explain this is a last resort thing.
Yes, yeah.
You know, this is not something, any of the restraints, there's ways should we go first, you know, trying to talk to someone first. If it comes to this as a tertiary level, this would be 100% better than any mechanical restraint. And I'll say that, and Mindful Journeys, my company, will say that. That's a fact. It will cause less distress to somebody, and less pain to somebody. It's just better.
In certain settings, definitely. But you know, making sure that. Do you think these should be used in psychiatric units?
I think they should be used. I think I think they should be used anywhere that they're needed. Anywhere that they're needed. If somebody like no capacity, or the psychosis is that bad that somebody needs to be physically controlled, instead of people all jumping all over him and doing all that, that's something that can keep them safe. Sometimes you can't, and I know that a lot of this is going to be like a. I'm sure Doug has had this. This is a massive divide. There's going to be people well on it, well against. Well, me, I'm for it in the circumstances that it needs to be used. If it needs to be used, it needs to be used, and this would be way better than putting a metal, pure solid steel metal handcuff on someone, which when they're moving is really hurting them. This, when it's on, although you would never want it on, it's better than
you probably
the
would
past.
feel. Do you think you'd feel safe rather than control? Because you mentioned this control thing.
Yeah, because it would.
If you're in a metal restraint,
Yes,
you
because
feel
this would
more-
show that someone's not trying to hurt me as well.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it?
Yeah, because there are people in the system who shouldn't be there, and yeah.
Cool. Right. Any more questions?
I can't. Do you want to ask, or do you want me to ask?
You can ask. Do you
Yeah,
want to sit
yeah.
here though, so the eye line's
Yeah, of course.
right?
I'm sure many people have these in their homes anyway.
Pink ones.
Try not to move that tripod if you can.
Oh, that's good timing, actually.
Right, I'm going to stop.
Well,
You can imagine what they were like then, because they had put me now in the situation that they thought was the safest place,
Yep.
safest anything they could do. There was nothing in the room to break. The door was made out of special things,
yeah.
so I bit it.
Well, that's the thing. If you take all sensory things away from someone, and you challenge them.
Yeah, that was mine. That was how Ashworth came then. See,
Yeah.
because I had helicopters. Was involved in my care over years. So I'm in contact with now as friends.
Yeah.
A couple from Castle Clinic, 2 from Cardiff Prison. There are people now, because I've taken it past that by the work that I do.
Yeah.
But you imagine, right, going to eat a Miller and Cart with somebody that you used to look after. It's the first big couple of times was like, this is a bit fucking weird. Like,
Well,
you can imagine what they were like then, because they had put me now in the situation that they thought was the safest place,
yeah.
safest anything they could do. There was nothing in the room to break. The door was made out of special things,
Yeah.
so I bit it.
Well, that's the thing. If you take all sensory things away from someone, and you challenge them.
Yeah, that was mine. That was how Ashworth came then. See,
Yeah.
because I had helicopters